Welcome to the Q1 Buck Poll. I'm Tim Hart-Haberl. He's Mike Big Buck Hoffner, and we have been partying. The parties have started, Mike. We're having a great time meeting the hunters and hearing their stories.
I'll tell you what, the only thing hot about the night has been the party because it has been cold temperatures out, but I have enjoyed the party, I've enjoyed the conversations, we've had some great stories and met some great people.
All right, on today's show, we've got new bucks, we've got party interviews, including some old-timers. A 79-year-old and I think like a 76-year-old. We had some great stories from those guys. We've got handguns and handgun selection. A lot of people are getting into shooting. They're getting their CPL. And we have today a certified NRA instructor in Monica Ferrucci from DNR Sports Center.
Yeah, I took the concealed pistol license class myself. Took it earlier this year. I encourage all those that think you know everything about handguns, take the class. You might surprise yourself in what you learn.
We also are going to be cooking up some rabbit wild rice stew with Chef Drew Miller from Firekeepers Casino.
Sounds good on a cold day.
Yeah, a little bacon grease cooking it all up. I will tell you, it's awesome. And again, we've got all kinds of bucks here. We're going to talk about the upcoming parties, including February 7th at Firekeepers Casino. Stay with us. You're watching the Q1 Buck Poll. Firekeepers Casino and Hotel present the Q1 Buck Poll. We've got the old and the young on today, and again, when people are bringing their racks, and whether you've got a spike, as the one guy says, or you've got a big buck, you always remember that first deer.
Yeah, every one of the stories wrapped around to when I got my first deer. And I'll tell you what, some of the younger generation got spoiled because those old timers talked about their spikes. We had one of our people that came in, I don't know, there's nowhere to go up with the deer that he shot. So congratulations to them.
All right, here's some of our party interviews from the Coldwater Party.
All right, so John is out of Region 3, actually, and that is a nice-looking deer. So first time ever out in the woods?
That was my 50th buck, and I killed my first one when I was 14 years old.
Holy cow, let's give him a round of applause.
I'm 74.
How many people have 50 bucks to their credit? How about 50 bucks in your wallet? All right, so
These young people, I think back, my first deer was shot in northern Michigan, a 6-inch spike, and I thought as much of it as one of these. And I still have the horns.
well, tell me about this hunt and how it went.
Well, early morning, a nice 6-point come by chasing a doe. I didn't take it because I wanted to hunt all day. I hunt with my buddy, and we have limited times. We take it easy going. And I had a cup of coffee, set it down, looked up. He come through the thicket. I had one shot. That was it. I didn't know I hit him, so I called my buddy on the other end of the woods, said, stand up. He didn't go 30 yards. And I found him.
All right, so Jordan shot an 8-pointer, 13.25-inch inside spread, 9.625 for the mass, 9.25 for the longest time. Total score 40.125. A shotgun out of Union City and a very cool looking drop tine there. Jordan, let's talk about your hunt.
It was opening day, and it was probably around 9, and I haven't seen anything. And I heard my grandpa shoot to the left of me, which was only about 80 yards away. And I was looking in front of me, and I hadn't seen anything. And then I could see the rack moving through the swamp, and I'd shot, and I'd picked out where I was going to shoot him in an opening, and I'd shot, and he jumped, and he ran about 20 yards, and he stopped, and I shot him again, and then he ran another 20 yards, and I shot him again. And then it was about a half an hour, and we got down, and we hadn't seen any blood, and we just looked around, and he happened to be laying there in the weeds.
Now, did he have 3 holes in him or just 1?
He had 2.
He had 2. 2 out of 3. That is not bad when you're out there hunting. I will tell you that. At least you didn't do like last year. Some guy said, I shot. 8 shots later, he finally dropped a deer. So, well, now is this your biggest buck?
It's my only buck.
That's your only buck. Another first buck. Let's give him a round of applause.
Well, if you like handguns, we've got a great segment coming up here with Monica Ferrucci. She's a certified NRA instructor, and she is going to talk about the different grips. There's different magazines you can use, different styles, different weights, and depending upon what you're using it for, are you going to conceal it here, where? So she's got some great tips today.
Yeah, well, one of the things about the concealed pistol information that you receive, I thought I knew everything about handguns, but the one thing I paid particularly attention to is the safety part of operating them.
All right. We've got Bucks here with Big Buck Hoffner now.
Noah Ream from South Central Michigan brings in a 15-pointer, the score 49 3/4. Randy Nagelkirk from Midwest Michigan brings in a 10-pointer, the score 44. And Ryan Olson from Midwest Michigan, 12-pointer, score of 52.
Time now for handguns at DNR Sports Center in Kalamazoo.
Monica Ferrucci is our guest. She's a certified NRA instructor, and she's also someone you're going to find behind the counter at DNR Sports Center in Kalamazoo. And we've got a variety of handguns out here. I mean, we've got 38s, 9mm, 380s. Really, it's all about feel and what you're looking for in a handgun, isn't it?
Absolutely, yep. You can start with, we have a 45, 40, 9s, double stack versus single stack, the larger ones versus the smaller ones, because when you transition from a large, say, range home handgun to a carry gun, you need it to be smaller so it has lesser of a smaller profile.
Mm-hmm. Now these 38s have a little different features in them. Let's talk about some of the different features. First of all, I like this one. It's got the tracer with it. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yep, that has the crimson trace, and what's nice about that is that it comes down longer, so you can get more hand surface on the gun to better handle the recoil, and then you've got your laser with that, so it's point and shoot. Mm-hmm. This is the same gun, but instead of having the silver, it's just the same platform, but with a darker base. And so some people like the idea of concealment when they go to draw. There's nothing shiny to show someone. Mm-hmm. That's it, but it has a much shorter grip.
Okay.
So it's what's comfortable. And then this is the same gun with a wood grip that's a little bit longer, but this is out of Smith & Wesson's Performance Center. And what's nice about this is it has a lighter trigger. So for those who have problems pulling the trigger, mm-hmm.
It's
a lighter trigger. So, but the grips, you want to get a handgun that you can consistently and accurately shoot well.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. And so it all comes down to grips and sights and what you prefer.
All right, and one of the most popular models right now that's the 380s because of easy to conceal, whether you put it in the small of your back or wherever you're going to put it, very easy to conceal.
Yep, the minimum recommended by NRA and law enforcement is 9mm in auto, but a 380 you just can't. They're so small. This is the Ruger LCP. It's super small. It's not much bigger than a deck of cards. Big wallop. The smaller the gun, the shorter the barrel, the lighter it is, the more recoil you have to absorb as the shooter.
Okay.
But it's so small. That's what makes the 380 round. It's a short 9. Mm-hmm. So popular because you can easily tuck that anywhere. Guys can drop it in their pocket. You can drop it here. There's all sorts of holsters, you can't imagine, but that's what makes this 380 round. This is the Ruger LCP. It comes in pink, purple, black, green, with the crimson
all kinds
trace.
of color combinations for you.
Yep. This is a nice standby. I love this one. This is the Colt Mustang. More expensive, a little bit heavier, but still so small. Mm-hmm. It makes it great. The price point's a little bit different. The Smith & Wesson makes the Bodyguard, which actually has a laser with a button on the side. So not only do you have to come up and draw, but you have to hit that button to get it to go, to get it to come on. So not as nice as the other one where as soon as you grab that handle, it's ready to go. The less, in a moment of stress, the less things you have to do and think about, I consider Murphy's Law.
Well, you never know. I mean, the point of having one is not to pull it out, obviously.
Right. You don't want to have to utilize it. Sig Sauer, this is one of our most popular ones with the 380. It's got glow-in-the-dark night sights. It's got a safety. It comes with 2 magazines, a 7-round, so you can get that full hand grip, or a shorter one for carry so that it's less of a profile, but then you don't get that pinky on it.
Yeah, and for some people that is very important.
It's very
for balance and aim.
Right, for them to be able to, shoot this gun well, they need that extra magazine. So you can think we've gone through different grips, we've gone through different lengths of grips, and these were the 380s. SIG came out with the 938 this past year, which is just like the 380, one of their most popular ones, but in the 9.
Okay.
So this is great, and you can get it with the extended magazine too. Not quite the same, but almost the same size. Smith & Wesson makes their X grip, so it comes in the 9 and the 40, so you can get that full round, 17 rounds on the 9. You can drop the magazine, put a smaller magazine in for carry.
So again, a lot of different options, and with some of these guns, there's custom grips that you can add to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yep. Let's go to the 1911. This is a 45, but with a 3-inch barrel. You can get whatever grip you want. You can feel this one, there's actually checkering on the front and the back strap, but then you can get skinny grips, fat grips, all in between, and it comes down to whatever feels best in your hand.
Well, and for some people, their hands, some people, as they get older, got, problems with their fingers or whatever the case is, so you might want a larger grip on something like that.
Exactly. Well, we have the double stack Smith & Wesson M&P, but then this year they introduced the Shield, or 2013, which is a single stack in the 9 and the 40. Everything's the same. You can get that longer mag or the thinner mag, and at the price point right now they're, $400.
Right.
So it's
very
a great,
affordable,
and it's much easier to carry than when you look at this thickness versus this thickness. So much easier to carry.
All right, so we're talking about feel, we're talking about grips, we're talking about sizes, different calibers, but I would think that the main thing you want to do is take a gun like this out and shoot a little bit so you know it's the proper gun that you're looking for.
Sure, they're expensive investments. You're looking between, 3 to
as much as you want to spend.
As much as you want to spend. Yep. And and if you don't have the opportunity to shoot a lot, you can always, in the store situation, as I check this just to be sure, is check that sight alignment. Line up those sights, get it, see how it feels, make sure you can handle that. Line it up here, look at your target, and then come straight up. And see, when you're out here, you shouldn't be fishing around up here. That means it's the guns, the grip, it's not, your natural point of aim. This may not be the gun for you. If you're always searching for the sights up here, it's get that sight alignment down low, look, and come straight up. And that'll be something you can do in the store if you can't go to the range. Sure, ideally, go to the range as much as possible.
That's right, that's right. And don't forget about taking your CPL classes. That's one of the things that you do. And for a lot of women out there, they like to have a woman instructor, and that's where you come in.
I do come in for that. I am a woman instructor, yes.
All right, very good. So thanks for being with us today.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
All right, Monica Ferrucci here on the Q1 Buck Pull, talking about handguns at DNR Sports Center.
All right, what do you do with bacon grease? Oh, you take the rabbit and you fry it up in the bacon grease and you make something special. Here's rabbit wild rice stew with Chef Drew Miller.
All right, all you deer hunters out there who are also rabbit hunters, today we're at Firekeepers Casino and Hotel. Our chef today, Drew Miller. Welcome to the Buck Pull. All right, we have pan-fried rabbit. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Mashed potatoes, asparagus.
Yes, sir.
Let's put it all together.
All right. Well, we're going to start with a little bacon grease. Get that in a hot pan. Get that to render down a little bit. It's going to be our cooking medium for the rabbit. And while that's melting down, we're going to start dredging our rabbit here.
All right. When you say dredging the rabbit, are we going here? What do we got? What do we got next?
I got a little egg wash in here.
Okay.
And then some flour, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder.
I like it. I like it.
I'm going to wait for this pan to get nice and hot. I'm going to look for that bacon grease to start to shimmer and smoke a little bit.
Okay.
That's what we're after. I got a couple of nice pieces of rabbit here. Drop it in that egg.
So the egg wash is doing what? It's helping it stick to
That's
then
just-
the flour.
Yeah, that's just going to help the flour stick a little better and make the batter a little thicker on it. Make it nice and crispy.
You know, I like to make fish too, and I use that same type of scenario.
Absolutely. Coat that real good with the flour.
You can smell the bacon grease right now, I can tell you that. Can't have bacon, why not bacon grease?
Bacon makes everything better.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We're ready to go.
All right. Now that bacon grease is nice and hot. Get a little smoke coming off of it. I'm gonna drop that rabbit in there. Fry her up.
About how long will this rabbit cook in there?
We're going to cook this for a couple of minutes on each side, just get a nice color and get it nice and crispy, and then we're going to stick it in the oven for a few minutes to finish it off.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, looks like we flipped over the rabbit a little bit to start cooking it on the other side. What's next?
all right. Yeah, we got the rabbit flipped over. It's browning up nicely there. You're going to keep adding a little bacon grease to this as it's cooking because the flour in the rabbit's going to soak up some of that bacon
Okay.
grease.
Flavor. That's what we're talking about. Flavor, my man.
Then we're going to go over here, our other pan. Start with a little clarified butter.
Okay.
Got ready to roll. We're going to get our asparagus going.
You know, one thing I was talking earlier, I've never been a big asparagus fan, but when we're making it here, I have become an asparagus fan. It is really good. Sometimes it's a little bit of the flavoring that you put to it that makes all the difference. And again, trying to sear it on both sides before we put it in the oven to finish it baking. Is that right?
Yeah, we're just going to be looking for a color just about like this or that. Get a nice color on that, and we're going to put it in the oven, bake it, finish it off.
All right.
We are ready to do.
All right, so that's ready for the oven?
That's ready for the oven.
All right, so we're going to put that in the oven. What are we going to, we got more stuff to make here.
Yep, and then we're going to take this leftover bacon grease and everything. We're going to create a roux and make our debris gravy in here.
Very nice. All right. Time for the oven.
Yes, sir.
Looks like you got a little bit of a rack system going on here.
Yeah, we're going to put them on this rack so they can drain a little bit while they're cooking. That way they don't get soggy in the oven. They stay nice and crispy
Okay.
while they're finishing
How
up.
long will you put this in the oven?
Roughly about 15 minutes.
Okay, all right, well, let's go do that. Okay, the rabbit is in the oven. What's next?
Yes, sir. We're going to start with our. We're going to start making our debris gravy here.
All right, we're using the bacon grease,
So
right?
we got the bacon grease, which there's a ton of flavor in the bottom of this pan from the bacon grease. See a couple little pieces of bacon floating around in there, and all the stuff that came off the rabbit when we cooked that. So we're going to start with a little flour. Some of that in there to make a roux.
Kind of thicken right up.
Yeah, thicken right up for you. Just want to be careful with this because you don't want to burn it. And make sure your heat's on low. You're just looking to make a paste, kind of like
Okay.
that.
All right.
We're going to add a little garlic.
A little garlic always helps.
And some milk.
Okay, whole milk, skim milk, 2%
I use
milk.
2% here, but really you can make it out of just about any kind of milk you'd
All right.
like to.
Depends if you're on a diet or not.
You're going to make sure you mix this real good so you don't get clumps in it.
All right. So it looks like it's thickening up perfectly.
Yeah, our sauce is getting nice and thick. We let that simmer for a few minutes in
All
order
right.
to get the flour taste out of it. We're going to season it up.
A little
bit of-
S&P.
little salt and pepper. I got some rosemary and thyme in here. I'm going to add that in.
And what will that do for the
It's
flavor?
going to add a nice little background flavor to it.
Okay.
Nice little earthy flavor to
All
it.
right.
Mix that in real nice. Our asparagus is done here. Our gravy's done.
Okay.
And we're ready to plate.
Okay, the sauce is ready. The rabbit is out of the oven.
Yes,
The
sir.
asparagus is ready. Potatoes. Plate it up, my man.
Yes, sir, we're ready to eat, huh?
Yeah, we are ready to eat. We're always ready to eat here at Firekeepers. All the great restaurants here, the great chefs. Look at that, the little rabbit. Oh, a lot of rabbit. I think it's the whole rabbit. Little asparagus. Very nicely done. And the sauce. That is looking awesome. All right, here we go. Try a little asparagus first. Delicious. Little potatoes with the sauce. That's really good. Very flavorful. And the rabbit. Now these are the legs, right?
These are the legs, yep. There's bigger one's a hind leg and then the front leg there.
Tender, delicious. The gravy's good. You gotta like it. So again, pan-fried rabbit.
With the debris gravy and a little bit of seared asparagus and mashed potatoes.
Awesome.
Well, Big Buck, we have talked about parties. We've had handguns. We've had a little change from venison and went with some rabbit today. So kind of a potpourri on the Q1 Buck Pull.
The only thing we haven't talked about is the weather. And we're hoping to forecast the month of February being a heck of a lot warmer than it has been during the month of January.
February 7th, we'll be at Firekeepers Casino in Battle Creek, and it is going to be an awesome night. Right now, they have specials going on. You can get a room on Friday night for $199. Tell people you're with the Q1 Buck Pull. We're going to have all kinds of vendors there. We've got lots of prizes. And remember, it is a random draw all night. And the last thing we're going to do, all the hunters' names that are present, must be present. We'll draw some name out, and somebody is going to win that ATV from Custom Connection Motorsports.
I just want to remind them, because I did not do well on my calendar, it is a Friday night of February 7th. I had it marked on the wrong time. Tim corrected me on it. So it's Friday night, February 7th. Be there at the Firekeepers.
All right, for Mike Big Buck Hoffner, I'm Tim Hart. Whenever you're out in the woods, make sure you're safe, and don't forget to go online to q1buckpole.com.